So you're thinking about launching a SaaS, or maybe even a micro SaaS. Well, before you get started, let's talk a few things that can help you along the way. Hey, my name is James and welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before, I make content on web development, specifically the Jamstack, and occasionally I talk about SaaSes. In this video, I'm going to describe all the lessons that I've learned since launching my micro SaaS, Roll Your Tweet. In this video, it's not going to be super detailed, but it's going to give you an idea of the things that you can avoid before you get started. Number 1, the code is only about 10% of the product. So don't worry too much about the tech stack or if the code is super clean. I learned along the way that people just don't care, and I told people that my product was built with Next.js and it was built with this and that, and these are all the technologies that I'm using. The only people that really cared were developers that I was talking about creating a SaaS with. People out in the real world don't care. They also don't care if the UI or the UX is a bit janky in the beginning, and they just want it to do whatever you state. So for example, with Roll Your Tweet, you can take a tweet and make long form content from it. When I first launched it, it looked pretty poor in my opinion from a UI standpoint. But I've taken the time over the last 30 days to improve it, and now I have something that I'm kind of impressed with and also proud of. Number 2, marketing is hard. Now I said in the previous one that 10% of it is code. The other 90% is marketing, and it is really, really hard. What I learned was that marketing is not just a sales pitch. It's about finding the niche that you're in and also marketing to those people, describing what it does, how it could help somebody, what problem does it solve, in a fun and friendly way that people can connect with. Now, there is plenty of resources out there, but I feel like there are a few that really help me understand this. So first, Zero to Sold and the Embedded Entrepreneur are both by the same person, and I'll leave links in the description. They're incredibly good at describing how he went from zero and sold his first startup. And in there's a lot of resources around marketing and how they did what they did. And there's also one called the Mum Test. And this was really valuable. I just picked this up recently. And all these things kind of gave me an idea of how to market, as well as how to sort of describe the product to other people. Number 3, don't be afraid to stick yourself out there. Sticking yourself out there kind of seems a bit counterintuitive, as if you're sort of pushing your product on people. But a lot of times it's more about being in the right position to introduce your product to people. Roll Your Tweet is very lucky. My whole product is angled towards people on Twitter. I spend a lot of time on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I spend a lot of time on Twitter, commenting on tweets and doing a lot of things like that. So this allowed me to essentially have a market spot already. Like I knew exactly who I wanted to market to was heavy thread users. So I would make myself known through being like, this is a super cool thread. Like, do you have it in a blog post? Because that's how I prefer to read. And that was kind of the reason that Roll Your Tweet was born. And if they responded, hey, no, like I don't have a blog, or yeah, I do, but this is not a blog and I probably won't turn it into one, I would reach out to them through the DMs and have them look at it and say, hey, here's my product. This is what it does. And you could basically turn this into long form content and allow you to get all sorts of nice tasty goodness from Google search engines, and obviously have it stick around longer than a few days. This worked really well for me, and people responded positively to this. I wasn't pitching the product as like, hey, you should check this out. I was giving them a solvable problem. They had a thread, they have a blog, they don't have them both right now, so please use them. And some people said, oh yeah, I might check it out, and others genuinely were impressed and started using it right away. Number 4, the first sale is not the hardest. People tell you the first sale is always the hardest, but that's not true, or at least in my case. So my product comes with a free tier, and then it has a $5 currently, which will be $10 in 2 days. But I had a paid product and a free tier. Now, I managed to get somebody to sign up for the paid tier because they wanted to use Dev2, Hashnode, and Medium immediately. It was in the first 2 weeks, which was something that I didn't expect considering I have a small following and it's a very niche product. But that sale went within 2 weeks, and since then, I haven't actually upselled anybody who's using the product. I have plenty of people using the free tier, and the $10 that I get, or the $5 should I say, that I get, more than covers the basics that the SaaS really costs. 2 through 100 to me are much, much harder because you need people to talk about the product. You need people to advocate for the product. You need people to talk about your product so that you're not the only salesman or marketer in the world. And that takes time, effort, and experience to get those people to start talking about it. Number 5, change, fail, repeat. When I built Roll Your Tweet, I had no expectations that anybody would use it or anybody would really have a good time using it. Over this 32 days, I have learned that people are using it and using it frequently. People are telling me feedback around things they'd like to see and also bugs, feedback, etc. And it's okay to make a change and have a bunch of negative feedback. That means that people know what they like, and you can use that to your advantage. So if you release a new feature, for example, in the future, we're going to have one that will take a blog post and turn it into a Twitter thread. That is something that somebody may want. And if they do want it and they try it and they like it, you get that feedback, you can iterate on that, and you can move forward. There were plenty of changes I made in Roll Your Tweet that I rolled back and made changes to again to satisfy people using the product. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you're going to build a SaaS in the future. It's a super fun way to learn all about the ins and outs of business, technology, and more. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop it a like, comment on things you want to see on the channel, or just leave me your ideas below. And if you have a SaaS, drop a link. I'd love to check it out. Until next time, see ya.